Most people love the feeling of being drunk. Little do they know, it is actually available in meditation. It is like being drunk but sober at the same time. You simply calm down. You know, in the beginning, when you start to meditate, you have to face all the darkness, and at some point, you kind of enter an eternal chill zone. And this is where you know, okay, this is the absolute depth of my being. And, you know, meditation is not just a wellness practice. I guess for some people who are not very traumatized, it can feel like a wellness practice. And at some point it will become a state in which you feel very well, of course. But it's not for the weak. Some people who have a lot of inner conflict, you know, some people who carry a lot of anger, sadness, depression, all those things. All these states are parts of your consciousness, and when you meditate, you don't detach as if you separate yourself from the content of your consciousness and then you just dump it in the trash. You cannot simply separate yourself from the consciousness, it would just create conflict. So you have to face it. And this facing of what is part of your consciousness is actually what's going to resolve all the problems. So you face your own mind. And most people have a difficult time with facing their own minds. But when you do it, and you go through it, and you endure, at some point you will become comfortable with yourself. You know, it's like the brain learns about itself. Normally, we have certain thoughts and behaviors and tendencies and habits that we just do, but we don't know that we actually are doing it. We're unconscious of them. When we meditate, we don't suppress anything. We're just becoming conscious of what's happening in our consciousness without control. And then there's like a light shining onto every single movement in consciousness. And it's like the mind learns about itself without any effort. It's not that there's like a separate being that is taking a pen and some notes and learning about themselves. It's not a voluntary act of learning. It is a passive learning. And somehow the magic lies in this strange phenomenon that when you're just relaxing and allowing your mind to be, and you also recognize that this awareness, which is just aware of all the happenings, it's just all happening at the same time and there's no effort at all. That, you know, when this phenomenon happens, there's just a kind of self-healing, self-regulation, a self-understanding. When for example, if you had something going on that like was very confusing to you, and even after years you still feel confused about it and it haunts you, you sit down and you meditate, and automatically the brain will bring up this thing and it will go through it until the confusion is resolved. That's how inner peace is created. And again, this is not something you have to do. It's not a voluntary act of resolving. And then everything just settles by itself, just like, when you stop shaking the snow globe and you just put it down. I can recommend that you don't do it just for 15 minutes. Do it for a little bit longer. You will see that there are some benefits in this. Because when you do this for 40 minutes or an hour, you will see that it has a tremendous difference than when you just do it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 20 minutes. You go deep, You teach your body that it's okay to do absolutely nothing. Because when you pass the 20-minute mark, then your mind starts to lose the sense of time, and that's a good thing, because you want to get into a state of timelessness. You want to lose the sense of time and also space. Sometimes in meditation you even forget where you are, and all of a sudden you're like back. Meditating. So you settle down, calm yourself down. You're becoming calm. You get rid of all the emotional charges that are stuck in your thoughts.